When I was 10, I saw a movie. It was called Jaws, and it influenced me to make movies. I started looking into other directors, movies they had filmed, and I wondered if any of those movies would have an influence on me. When I was 11, I got into Alfred Hitchcock movies, and I am a huge fan of his work. When I was 12, I knew the movie Psycho so well that I could reenact the entire movie for you without even looking at a script. I could tell you who said what, and I mean the exact sentence, not just, a synopsis of what they said. Literally the exact same sentence. I could tell you what shot came after what. I knew the movie that well. And then I went to On Demand, and I skimmed through the list of movies that I was going to watch for Halloween. And it said Psycho, and then in parentheses, 1998. And I clicked it. Because at that age, I was under the impression that all remakes were awesome. I was so naive back then. So I clicked it. Because I wanted to see how well of a story this could be. Because at this point, I had known Hitchcock's masterpiece. And I wanted to see how the remake could do, how they could tell that story. Because at that point, the Tim Burton Willy Wonka remake came out. And the remake of that one wasn't bad. I thought it was pretty good. But to remake a movie, a classic, and to use the exact same script, and to use the exact same shots. They even used the exact same opening credit title sequence in this movie. This has to be the most pointless film I have ever seen in my life. This is the giant middle finger to Hitchcock. This is truly insulting. Not only to him, but what he created 52 years ago. And is still considered to be a classic, folks. Okay, Hollywood is now making a movie about Hitchcock, about how Hitchcock made that movie. That's how big of a flick it is. And to use the same script, and how do I know this is the same script? Because as I was watching it for the first time, I was saying the lines along with them. And I wasn't even looking at a script, folks. And to have the same shots that Hitchcock created, to do the exact same shower scene that Hitchcock created, to use the exact same... Oh my God, it's just... Look, here's the thing. I am a Hitchcock fan, so I take his stuff very seriously. But to watch this and to have some people enjoy it, it's like having someone say, I think that Twilight is good. It hurts me inside, people. It really does. And, oh, man, this is... Where do I begin with this? Vince Vaughn like, I, I, I don't know what the point of this movie is. I don't know why. This is probably the only theory I have as to why this movie exists. Hollywood executives are sitting around and they probably ask themselves, gee, I wonder what Hitchcock's Psycho would look like in color. That's the only logical explanation, I think, as to why this movie exists. Because other than that, what's the point? It's the same script as Hitchcock's original. It's the same shots as Hitchcock's original. Even the same ending. Okay, which I will not dare ruin for you. I know I give out a lot of spoilers on this show, but I will not dare ruin the ending of this movie for you guys if you guys haven't seen Psycho. So, let me go over the cast with you guys here, okay? Vince Vaughn is Norman Bates. Okay, I don't dislike Vince Vaughn. I think he can be pretty funny. I do like him as an actor. I think Wedding Crashers is the greatest thing he's ever done. But here, he's not menacing. And Norman Bates isn't supposed to be menacing at all. But he's not even acting well. In fact, none of the actors who were acting well. Anne Heche, who is in this, who plays Marion Crane. Oh my God, is it terrible. Julianne Moore, who is the sister, she's terrible. Here's what really pissed me off. It wasn't the fact that they were using the exact same script. What pissed me off... See, here's the deal. When doing a remake of a classic, the only reason you want to do a remake is if you can bring something else to the table, something that wasn't there in the original, but something that you can bring to the table that can be interesting, and it can make you look at the original in a whole new light, and yet still enjoy it, and also enjoy the remake. This movie doesn't do it. It doesn't do it. Because, honest to God, I think because here's what the actors do in the remake. The script in the original, the actors had a great take on it, but in the remake, they could have had a whole new different take on those lines, even though they are saying the exact same lines. They could have taken on a different role on it, but they don't. They don't. All they do is, I swear to God this happened. They must have been reading the cue cards as the cameras were rolling. They don't put all the cast members, they don't put any emotion into what they say. They just say line after line after line after line. No break in the wall. I was saying the lines along with them. And I don't think the actors even gave a shit. And look at them on screen. It looks like they clearly don't give a shit. They don't. They don't give a rat's ass what they do. They're like, oh, we're in the remake of Psycho. Oh, this will be interesting. I know the whole story. Give me the script. I don't need a script. Because I know the story. I know what happens. And we all know the twist ending. So what's the point? What is the point of this movie? The scene at the end of the original Psycho, after the ending, after it's been revealed, they have that scene at the end of the movie where the psychiatrist has that speech at the end. And Joseph Stefano, who wrote the screenplay for the original Psycho, said that Hitchcock didn't want to put that scene in the movie. He said that he called it, quote, unquote, a hat grabber. He felt that it was unnecessary to use, which I can see Hitchcock saying that. I can see that. But I love that scene. I really do, because it would have been a huge mystery to end Psycho without having that speech at the end, because they just revealed the ending. I'm not going to ruin it for you guys. The ending, and we want to know why did that happen? You know what I mean? It's kind of like at the end of The Birds. The Birds had no explanation at the end of the film The Birds, which kind of pissed me off. Like, I remember saying to myself as the movie ended, I said, where's the explanation? Like Psycho had. But looking back in retrospect, I see why they did it, because the less we know, the more terrifying it is. You know what I mean? So that makes it more scary. And the psychiatrist at the end of the original Psycho, he gave like emotion in that speech. He would take pauses in between sentences, and he would say it as if it was really happening. In the remake, of course, what's the point of even making the remake when we already know the twist ending? So what's the point of having the psychiatrist speech at the end of this movie? And the psychiatrist in this movie, who, by the way, I don't know the guy's real name. I forget his real name, but he's best known as playing Bookman on Seinfeld. This guy just says the exact same lines. There's no break. He just says sentence after sentence after sentence. They had the body in the fruit sour. They did this. They did that. They did this. They did that. He doesn't take a pause. He just paces back and forth very fast, and he just says the lines as if he's reading the script. He doesn't put any emotion in this. Nothing. And to have that really pisses me off. And I was not entertained by this movie. Not one bit. And I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, I heard that Hollywood is going to remake The Birds. Please don't do that. Please don't. Because this is the pure definition of why you shouldn't remake a Hitchcock movie. Because his films, in the words of Roger Ebert, they are here. They exist. It's a fact. We know them. What is the point of remaking them other than to make money? That's the point. That's what this movie is all about. They want to make money, and they want to see what Psycho looked like in color. That's it. That's the only reason this movie exists. Not to scare you. It's just to make you feel extremely pissed off. Especially if you're a fan of Psycho and Hitchcock, which I am. And I know what you're thinking. Wow, you must really hate this movie. It's just a movie. Yeah, well, when you're a Hitchcock fan and you've seen that, this is just completely insulting to Mr. Hitchcock. I don't know how he would feel about it, but if I was in Mr. Hitchcock's place, even in death, I would feel very insulted because they don't care about this movie. They don't put any effort into this movie because it's the same story. It's the same. Obviously, it would be the same story, but it's the same script. It's shot the same way. You know what? Watch the original and watch the remake at the same time. It's the same shots, one after the other. The camera moves like this in one shot from Psycho. It does the same thing in the remake. I don't even know what else to say about it. I mean, here's the deal. At least with Disturbia, which was the remake of Rear Window, it was cheesy, but it was still good. Why? Because it wasn't the same script as Rear Window. It was the same story in some way, but it was different. It was well, it wasn't really unique. Rear Window had that, but it was interesting and it was good. This is just crap. It is, and I don't like it. I hate it. If you like it, chances are you like it for your own reasons. This is all opinion. But if you like it, my guess is you probably haven't seen the original, and if you have seen the original and you still like it, okay. But if you want to see Psycho, please watch the original, because I am thankful that I grew up watching the original before this piece of shit. See you guys later.